on the stream. We're happy to answer them if we can. We'll try. So yeah, I guess before we dive into creating a lens, I wanted to talk a little bit about Snap Camera, which we're using right now. Basically, Snap Camera is something we came out with around October. What it is a desktop application, if you haven't used it before, that allows you to basically take over your webcam with Snapchat lenses. So you can see that Amir's choosing between some of the featured lenses we have. I really like this one, whoever made this. Galaxy here, very cool. But basically what Snap Camera is, again, it allows you to apply Snapchat lenses to your webcam. This is really cool, especially for Twitch, in that you could use that webcam in a streaming software like OBS and now broadcast to your Twitch stream using fun Snapchat lenses. We even have some lenses that were created for PUBG, World of Warcraft, that you can like stream with while playing, even Overwatch. We have a really fun McCree lens. So yeah, that's Snap Camera. We just came out with an update for Snap Camera for those that have been using Snap Camera, where we now have these cool categories where we've kind of put things in subsections. So Amir, if you can like go into the gaming one, for example, we have a number of gaming lenses categorized within, here's the PUBG lens, within those categories. But one of the coolest things we've added to Snap Camera in the last update, if you update, is in the bottom left corner here, where you can actually take a photo now and record a video using Snap Camera. This is really cool if you want to just have a photo of yourself with fun fire glasses. But also, one of the cool things that you can do is record a video and potentially use it in like, edited YouTube-like videos now using fun Snapchat lenses. And like all lenses, the ones that our creators are creating every day, the amazing creations we see every day, they're available in Snapchat, but also searchable and available in Snap Camera. So they're kind of one and the same when you submit your lens. So that's Snap Camera. I'll also mention that we use Snap Camera all the time at the office. It works not just on Twitch, obviously, because it's kind of just taking over your webcam. It works on any application that uses webcam. So it works on Skype, it works on Google Hangout, and so we use Snap Camera all the time internally for meetings where we have very serious meetings with these funny lenses on. So yeah, that's Snap Camera. So I guess switching over to Lens Studio now, we want to walk you through how to build a specific type of lens. Today, what we wanted to do is walk through the behavior script, which is basically, it allows you to create kind of simple interactions without writing any code. So what it does is you import it into your project, and it allows you to configure a trigger, which is when something happens, and a response. So it's what happens after the trigger. So a trigger example might be opening your mouth or raising your eyebrows or tapping the screen. And a response might be playing a sound, playing an animation, showing or hiding an object. And all of those things can be done with just importing the behavior script and tuning it in the inspector without ever opening up JavaScript, having to write that logic, having to know how to, for example, the line of code that's required to play a sound. So what's really cool here is that Electric Synapse says behavior script OP. We're hoping to show you that today. And where behavior script OP comes into play is not just on the ability to use it once, like so for example, when I open my mouth, play a sound, it's when you put a lot of behavior scripts together and almost like chain them together in a project, you can create very, very complex experiences without writing any code. And so I'll hand it over to Amir. Amir is basically going to walk us through a project where he's used behavior script to create this almost game-like experience with different win state. And so, again, all using behavior script, all without writing any code. So let's dive in.
So the first thing, I'm going to show the lens that I already made, and we're going to show how to create that lens.
Awesome.
So let's open up the project. And Okay. So this is a cute cat that's sleeping. The game is just like when you open the mouth, the cats start running and jumping, and there is a fire who's a bad guy, and you have to avoid getting to the fire. So let's wake her up.
Meow.
So it's going, the fire coming,
Meow.
and jumping. Like when I open my mouth,
Meow.
it's jumping. And when the fire gets to the cat, you can see, game over. Yeah. So I think the first thing, let's try to see how I made this cat using After Effects. Let's open up the After Effects.
So we're gonna look at the resources that you've made for this project, right?
Yes, yeah.
Got it.
So everything instead of the cat face made inside the After Effect. Let me open up the file. So as you can see, this is a cat running animation. So the body, as you can see here, it's just like one single line that I just like modified a line. And do you see, it's just like super simple to animate that. Like you don't need to do fancy stuff. It's just like one single line that you just like move the 2 points between that line. And all of our animation close together. So start is a cat sleeping, and when you open your mouth, it start idle, which is running, and we have jump and game over, stay, and fire. So we just like export each of these as a PNG sequence, and we're gonna import it in Lens Studio. We already exported the file, so we're gonna close the After Effects and then go.
And just for to note, you can Lens Studio supports importing 2D animations with an image sequence, which is a series of animation frames, but it also allows you to import a GIF if you, for example, have a GIF handy. So if you want to kind of play around, we actually have a Giphy integration where you can pull in some assets from Giphy. You could actually take this project. One of the things I should say is that after this stream, we're going to give you the project and all the assets. But you could take Giphy assets and replace cat with whatever you wanted it to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's start creating a new project and go download the behavior script. So if you go to the Lens Studio website and click on reference, and there is a guide button here, and you go to the scripting, and there should be a behavior script here. Yeah, the first thing that you can see is a blue link here. When you click on it, it's gonna download the behavior script. And for importing it into the Lens Studio, you just like drag it and drop it into the resources panel. Now you have a behavior script into the Lens Studio.
And I'll say in future updates, we'd like to integrate that script directly in the tool. But for now, you do have to go to the website under guides, scripting behavior script to actually get the behavior script.
Yes. So I think let's do simple interaction first and see how does the behavior script works, and then we're gonna go to create the lens. So the first simple thing that we can do is just like when you tap on the screen, the box change the color like to red or green or something. So in order to do that, we create a box, and then let me make it a little bit smaller. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is just like add the component, script, and select behavior script. The first thing that you need to do is just like what's triggered this event. Like we have tons of events here that you can choose from. We're gonna use touch event. So we're gonna tap. Like you can select what kind of tap. Tap start, tap move, and tap end. So we're gonna click on the tap. And we're gonna select the collider for it. So box is
So
our.
this is when I tap the box.
Yeah. And we have like so many response type. So we're gonna set it to set the color. So what we need when you want to set the color, you have to say what do you want to change the color and what material is it. So the first thing that we're gonna do is create a new material like PBR material here and assign it to the box. And then in here, we select the box as a visual and the material, the PBR material that we created before. And select the color that we want to, when you tap, what color should be. So now when I tap the screen, it should turn to red. Yeah. Or whatever color that you want. So this is super simple. Like even I can just like make it just like bring it down. I can just like go to the face event, and when I open my mouth, it turns green. Like yeah, it's easy to just like do the prototypes. Like when you have something you want to just like make it as fast as you can. This is so super helpful.
Yeah, a lot of times on the forums we'll get questions like, how do you play a sound? Or how do you, we'll get a question that's, how do you play a sound when you tap the screen? And how do you play a sound when you open your mouth? And so what we had been doing is writing scripts for each of those. But we realized we really needed to kind of make a generic solution that kind of answers that question across the board. And that's kind of how behavior script is born. So for the very simple use cases of when something happens, do something, behavior script's super powerful. And it also saves you the time where you don't actually have to look up that one JavaScript line for how to play a sound. That's also really nice in that the behavior script gives you like convenient editors for things like color. It just comes default with the behavior script.
So let's do a clean project and start creating our game.
Awesome.
So again, let's import behavior script. First thing that I need. And there's another thing that it's super helpful, and we're not gonna code today, so we're gonna go to the helper script and Tween Manager. So when you import Tween Manager lets you to animate stuff super simple without just like using code. And Tween Manager comes with a bunch of example in here that you can just like, we don't need it for now, we're gonna delete it. And when you import Tween Manager, it's so important to put it on top of your project and make sure it runs first. So because sometimes we have a problem with people like, why my Tween is not working. So the first thing that you need to do is just like put it on top of your project and make sure it's run first.
Yeah, and for any scripters out there, maybe one thing that some might not know is that the reason why is the objects panel executes script in the order that it appears from top to bottom in the objects panel. So what happens here is that Tween Manager is up top. It gets executed first, which means it's ready for everything that wants to use it below it.
Okay. So the first thing that we're gonna do is to just like import our sprite. To import the sprite, you just like click Add New 2D Animation from Files, and let's go to the export folder that I have, and let's select the sleeping animation, and let's select all the PNGs that I have, and it's automatically bringing all my PNGs here. So one thing to make sure in this example that I'm doing is turn off auto detect, because like we're gonna swap the animated texture based on like mouth open and mouth close. And if we just like keep it turned on, like for imagine I animate the jump state, it's just like moving the pixel up, and it's just gonna crop that pixel and have the like empty spaces on the bottom, right. And it's not gonna match on the other.
So you basically you want a consistent frame size for all of your animations, so the character's in the same place. And what auto detect crop does, it's gonna force a crop on that empty space. You want that empty space in the sprite.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So hit OK, and our animation is in, and let's rename it to sleep, and let's a bit change the speed to make it faster. Okay. And then to bring it to the viewer, you just like go to Add New, click on Sprite, and put it here. So now our cat is in the screen, but it's not attached to my face yet. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, like this. And so if we want to attach to our face, we can just like go to the Add New and select head binding. You can just like type. It's super fast. Like when you just like click Add New, you can start typing and it's gonna come up.
That's something that a lot of our creators didn't know, and they
Yeah.
were very surprised when we told them that. Any of the menus where it's asking you to select from a list, you can actually type, and it will filter the list by what you're typing.
Yeah.
Super valuable. We use it all the day. Sorry for not telling you that.
So, in order to the cat move with my face, I can just like easily drag and drop it under my head, and oh, it went through my nose. Let's bring it back. But the problem in here is I don't want it to rotate with my head as I might just like rotating my head. So
Electrical Synapse says yes, he was surprised. Or she.
so we promise to not do any coding. There is a simplest way to just like make it attach to your face and not turn with your head. So what we're gonna do is just like I'm gonna create the object which is exactly inside our head binding middle of our head binding. So in order to do that, the best way is just like right click on head binding and create the scene object. It's gonna create that as a child.
Right, that'll create a 0, 0 child.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we're gonna bring it out and we just like call it pin. And then there is a component that we just like added. I think it was on 1.7, right?
Yeah, in the latest release.
Yeah, it's called pin to mesh. It's just like you just like choose a target and it's gonna pin that mesh to that target. So we're gonna choose our target. So our target is, it has to be a mesh object. So what we're gonna do here, as you can see, the face anchor, face occluder anchor is in the it's not in the middle of the head. So what we're gonna do is create another mesh here, just like sphere or something. You can just like create anything, and you can see the anchor, it just like stays the same. And we're gonna turn off this object, and in here, choose the sphere. And when I put my cat animation, it's tracking my face and not rotating with my head.
Right. So it's actually attaching its transform to that reference sphere that is attached to your head. So it's always trying to catch up with that sphere, basically.
Yes, exactly. So we're gonna position our cat and then just like make sure to be organized and name everything so we don't forget. Because when you work with the behavior script, there is tons of script that you don't want to make sure to lose like what you're working on. So another thing that we're gonna do is just like put some object in the screen to just like calculate the front of our cat. Like right now, if we use the anchor that we have here, it's kind of like in middle of our sprite, and we don't want it. We just wanted to have the like front of our cat face. So what we're gonna do is just like, again, just like right click on the player, create scene object, and let's try to align it somewhere here so we can just like see it's just like front of our cat. And we're gonna bring it out and call it player anchor and just like set this as a child. So now we have a just like point that's showing where is the front of our cat. So
just one thing I'll stop you there, because Electric Synapse said he didn't know about the pin to mesh component. One thing I also want to mention of the pin to mesh component, like yes, you could totally use exactly what Amir just did to have a suit or a shirt or like a necktie that is with the head but doesn't rotate with it. Another thing you could do with the pin to mesh component is actually pin the UV. And what this does is it actually rotates the object based off of the source pinned mesh's UV. So it actually, you can like rotate an object and pin it around very complex meshes, and it'll actually kind of adapt to that complex mesh. So there's a lot you can do with pin to mesh. It's very powerful.
Yeah. So let's come back here, and we're gonna create our enemy, which is fire.
Okay.
First, let's import the fire. Again, add new and 2D animation from files. And for the fire, we don't need to just like turn on the auto, like turn off the auto detect because it doesn't matter. We're not gonna swap it with any other sprite or anything.
Right.
So,
There's only one fire.
yeah,
Doesn't
there-
matter. Yeah.
So we just import the fire. Let's rename it to fire. And you can see the animation is super slow here. You can change the duration, like speed of the animation in here. Like let's put 2.5, 3, 5. Yeah, now you can see the fire. It really looks more like fire. So let's duplicate our player here and just like change the name, fire, and instead of player anchor, we're gonna call it fire anchor. And let's assign the fire here. Ooh. The cat is already burning.
So that's the lens. We've set a cat on fire.
Yeah. So the first thing that I like to do is just like the fire drop behind our cat. And so to do that, it's just like super simple. Just like change the arrangement in the hierarchy. So now it's just like, as you can see, the fire is drawing behind the cat. So let's change the transform of the fire. It's so big. I'm gonna make it smaller like this. And let's make sure the anchor is fine. So I'm gonna try to set the anchor like somewhere in here. Let me turn off the cat so you can see it. Like somewhere around here. Like we can do middle, or you can just like we can just like change the values to make sure that it's working. So for now we're gonna just like put it here.
Mm-hmm. And so right now we're just like setting up all of the objects in our project. We haven't actually even touched adding any interactivity or animation yet.
Yes.
So we're just kind of getting our projects ready.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually something we often do with our lenses internally, is we set up everything. We have all of the objects in place. We have all of the resources in place. And then we add the interactivity in as this kind of secondary step.
Yeah. So the next thing that we're gonna do, we need the fire to be just like behind my head, just like exact same like depth as is in front. I want it to be just like exact same way on my back. So what we're gonna do, it's super simple. In here, we just like gonna put minus, and it's gonna go behind my head. Like, can I see it? Let me.
Your head's in the way.
Yeah, let me make it bigger. Ooh, yeah. Okay. So now we have fire ready. So the first thing that we're gonna do is set the fire to just like turn around my head. Again, I just need the transform of the middle of my head. Let's create another scene object as a child for my head binding and call it like fire rotator. And bring it back here and just like put the fire anchor inside the fire rotator. And now we're gonna add a tween to just like make it turn around my head. To add the tween, just like simple create script.
I'm gonna pause you real quick
Yeah.
and do a service announcement of
Yeah.
saving our work
Yeah.
while we work.
Uh-huh.
So let's save our project right now.
Okay. Cat and fire.
There we go.
All right.
Back to the Lens Studio.
Oh,
Switch
yeah. All right. So, let's add tween. Like, when you add the script, there is like an empty option field that when you just like click on it, you can just like go search to your script, you go to the tween, and then you're inside the tween types. You get bunch of different tween that you can just like apply to your object. So in this case, we're gonna need tween transform to just like make it turn around my head. We're gonna add tween transform. First thing that you need to just like assign what object do you wanna turn. We're gonna have the fire rotator, and what do you wanna call the animation name that you can just like access in future, like if you want to pause it, if you want to play it again or anything, you just need to just like name it something that you can just like call it again.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna call it again fire rotator and play automatically. Yeah, for now, let's keep it on the play automatically and loop. And in here, type, you can just like set if you want to move it, if you want to just like scale the object, or if you want to rotate it. So we select the rotate. And in here, I'm going to set to offset my rotation in here.
Because how Tween generally works, it's animating programmatically from point A or rotation A to rotation B. But what offset is doing is it's additively kind of adding to the rotation.
Yes. So we're going to click on the additive.
Right.
And then just like 180. So it starts turning, but I cannot see it in my front of the face. The problem is the default sprite that when you import to the project, it's only rendering one side of the object. So if you wanted to make sure that it's rendering on both sides of the object, we're going to create the new material. Like we're going to call it sprite here and create the sprite material. We don't need that resource. We're going to delete that resource and set the fire here. And let's assign the fire to here.
Real quick, CIMK Live said he had a lens that crashed and lost 20 minutes of work. Sorry about that. One of the things I will say is if you get into a situation like that where like Lens Studio is crashing, while we have fixed a ton of issues related to that, especially over the 1.6 and 1.7 release, so things there, CINK has learned the lesson. I've learned that lesson many a times in my life on computers. But yeah, so if you ever get a crash like that or a project that won't open, while this is much less likely to happen now, especially in 1.7, please let us know via the forum, because that's how we actually are able to fix these, not just for you, but for everybody. So we'd love to, anytime there's a bug, please report it on the forum. It's super helpful for us and our devs to kind of knock those problems out. Back to the show.
Okay. So as you can see, I applied the custom material, which is a sprite material, to our sprite. But still, I don't see it in front of my face because you need to just like check that two-sided on the fire material. So now I can see it in front of my face. But the animation looks a little bit silly here.
Right.
So what's the problem? We're going to go on the fire rotator. And I think easing option has a problem. We don't want it to have ease at all. We just want it to go and go and go. So we're gonna, in the easing function, we're gonna select linear. And as you can see, it's going around my head.
So now we have our enemy rotating around your head.
Yeah. So I'm gonna reduce the speed on time, and
There it
the
goes.
kitty's still sleeping.
It's not hurting the kitty yet.
Yeah.
We haven't got there.
Yeah, okay. So, let's start waking the kitty up.
Oh, hey, Benny. Good to see you.
So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna now start using behavior script. So in order to do that, the best way that we think that working with behavior script is just like creating a scene object as a child of the object and just like name it, what does it do? Because you might end up with just like thousands of behavior script and it's so hard to go through it. So what we're gonna do is just like create a scene object under our player, and we're just gonna call this one just like mouth open. So whenever we just like looking for mouth open, we want to change some values, just like we come here or it's just like search for mouth open, so we exactly get to the point. So let's
This is just project cleanliness.
yes,
and everything. Yeah.
yes.
It's important. Keep those projects clean.
So let's add the behavior script. So let's do it one more time. Let me delete that. So in here, click on the script, and there's an option to add script and select behavior script.
So it's worth noting that behavior script is just a script. It's a JavaScript that we created. It's fairly complex if you look at the inside. But what it does is it gives you a lot of the functionality inside that script exposed to the inspector. But how you add the behavior script is just like how you would add any other script. There's
Yes.
not really a difference fundamentally from behavior script and any other script. for how the JavaScript works.
Yes, exactly. So the first thing to just like make sure your behavior script working, if you want to just like change that your trigger is working, is just like select your trigger first. Like I'm gonna go to face event, mouth open, because I want it to be just like when I open my mouth, something happened. So I just want to check that if it's working. The easiest way to do that in the response type, there is a print message. Like I can say mouth open. So now when I open my mouth, you can see inside the logger, it's showing mouth open. I can just like say anything. Hey, you can see that it is working. So now we're just like making sure that it's working. Now let's go and just like change the response type. We want to just like make our player, when I just like open my mouse, change the sprite to jump one. So in here, there is an option for that. It's called Animate Sprite, which you can just like, you have to add two options here. First thing is just like what texture that you want to change to, and also what sprite visual. So let's import our jump animation. So let's say jumping, open, and uncheck auto detect, and click OK. Let's try to be clean and make it jump and change the speed to 0.6. Okay, let's back to behavior script. Now in here, I just need to assign two values. First, animated texture, which is jump, and then what sprite to change. Sprite visual. Now when I open my mouth, it's jumping. But do you see it's the, actually I'm just gonna, in jump, you can just like select turn off auto always play to just like make sure that it's not looping when you open your mouth.
Anytime you import an animation by default, it has always play checked by default.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Like as you can see, it's not jumping great. It's just like, because I tried to just like save the pixel area, I didn't want to just like make it jump in my pixel and makes my PNG so big.
Right.
So what I'm gonna do here is just gonna add the tween to change the position of my cat when it's just like jumping, to just like jump higher. So let's do it on the player anchor, because we want to just like move the player anchor. The player anchor is a thing that in future we're gonna just like calculate the distance between the player anchor and the fire anchor and see if it's closer.
So this is position of cat, basically.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Right.
So we go to the script, and here tween types and tween transform. So our cat is gone. Why? The thing is, when you just like add the tween transform, it's override the position and start position and then position.
It starts working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So what you need to do is just like go here and copy the values. So make sure that it stays here for now, so you can see it. Okay. So it should. Okay, it's back. And we're gonna say to move player anchor, and we're gonna call this animation jump, and we're gonna just like make it jump higher, like 8. Let's check 8. Ooh, it's flying. So this type of animation, this is going up and not coming back, so we don't want that. We just want to use ping pong once. What it does is go to the destination and come back to the
origin. Right?
Origin, yes, yes.
So, and it only does that once. So ping pong will go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
This will go back and forth, done.
Mm-hmm.
And just if you've used the tween system before in the past, which I know a lot of lens creators are using, we did update it in 1.7, I think, with new options and new features like offset, which Jameer is using for the fire, but also the ping pong once, which was something we found super useful.
Yeah. So right now, like, it's not reacting with my mouth open. So what we're gonna do in the mouth open script that we already created before for the changing the sprite, we're gonna create a new behavior script here again, and let's select face event, mouth open, and this time the response type is gonna be play twin. Where is that? Run twin, actually.
So here we
yeah.
have some synergy between the tween system, which you also don't have to script for, and the behavior script system, which can actually kind of call on the tween system.
Yes. And let's select the target object that you wanna to just like do the tween on it, and let's call the animation. What was the animation name? I can go back and see here. This is a tween name.
Jump.
Yeah, jump. And here is jump. And when I open my mouth, see, it's jumping more.
So what's happening here is there's two behavior scripts running. One is playing the actual animation of the jump, and then one is actually adding verticality to the cat's jump.
Yes, exactly. So next thing that we're gonna do is just like when our cats wake up and jump, we just want it to be just like start running. So to do that, let's create the, let's import our run animation. So where is running animation? Okay. Let's select all of them. Uncheck auto detect. Okay. And we call it run. And this is super slow. And we want this one to actually be looped. So what we're gonna do is just like create the behavior script, says like when the jump animation is done, start the run animation. So in order to do that, I'm trying to be clean here and just like and 2D anim and add the script, behavior script, and we're gonna say animation end.
Right.
Yes, and you just need to select what animation when it's end to play another animation. So I'm gonna select the jump animation when it's end, and then play another animation which animates sprite. So I'm gonna select run animation, and our sprite visual, it's gonna be player. And now when I open my mouth, start running. Now
That's smart.
Yeah, now we create the
So
you-
basically, this behavior script is it's waiting for the jump to end, and it'll always go back to running regardless. That behavior is always running.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna align the fire position here. Let's see if it's good. Okay, it's good. So I think we got everything working instead of just like losing state, which is the most
Right.
important part of the game.
We have a game if you're not playing by the rules.
So in here, I'm gonna create a new empty object and call it distance check. So then again, not touch, delete that. Create the new script, make sure to save again, and behavior script. And in here, you can see we're gonna have distance check, yeah. So when you just like do the distance check, there is two values that you need to add. One is just like cat, and another one is our fire. If we want to see what's the distance between these two, and
Right.
like if it's less than or if it's higher than the value, just like do something.
When the cat is close to fire, do
Yeah.
something. Right.
So we're gonna select our anchor, fire anchor, and player anchor here. And let's check like how does it work in here. Let's select the distance check, and I'm gonna again use the print message game over to find out what's a good number for losing state. Is it like working or no? Less than 1. Okay. So as you can see, it's not calling the fire anchor. Let me check. Fire anchor. Okay. Let's check like if distance higher than 2. It's not calling it. Let's change the number to something else and see if we get print message working. No. So let's check what's the problem here. Fire anchor. So the fire is here. Distance check. Always. Like one. Okay. So let's check the position of these scene objects. So I'm gonna check like if they both fire anchor -20. And let's check here. Let's check one more time if it's printing the message. Not yet. We got fire anchor, player anchor.
It's always being called. Does distance check's always going to be happening?
Yeah.
Does it need to be on update?
Yeah, it's when it's on always, it's gonna
right. It's always running.
Yeah. Let me do. Oh yeah, the number is a little bit crazy here. Let's check. 20. Yeah, 20 is not the number. Let's check 10. Okay, I'm getting it. Let's do number 6 and see where it's showing that. 6 I think was good, right?
Okay, so it's just the number.
Yeah.
Right.
I think 6 is good.
We're just trying to tune a number that basically gives us, is fire close to cat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we see just like the fire, it's when it gets to the cat, it's just like showing us game over. So we don't want it to show the game over. We just wanted to just like show the another sprite of the cat, which is just like parent state. So we're gonna change it to instead of response time to print message to animate sprite, and import our last animation, which is the parent one. Okay, turn off auto detect, import, save. Let's call it parent. And the speed we can just like put it 0.6. A little bit fast. I'm gonna put it on 0.8. Okay. Change the sprite and select our player as a visual that we want to just like see. Boom. So let's try to avoid it. Okay, cool. Let's try to do it one more time. Cool. So now you can see it's working fine. So what we're gonna do next is just like to make the fire stop as it just like when it hit the cat, just like to make sure that it stopped. So in order to do that, we just like use the same thing, the distance check that we already have. I'm gonna just like copy that and paste it again here. And in here, instead of just like saying just like for the response type to do it on it and to do it on the animate sprite, instead we're gonna do it on the run tween. And in here, I'm gonna select my fire, and we call our animation fire rotator. And instead of just like action to be start, we're gonna just like say stop when it hit the cat. Yeah, as you can see, the fire stopped. But I wanted to just like fire stop behind my cat. What I can do is just like add just like 0.2 delay, and let's play it again. Boom, the fire is behind my cat. Like it's still burning. And when I just like open my mouth, it automatically restart the game. No. The reason behind this is because I just need to just like make the fire moving as I open my mouth again, just like resume the fire animation. Yeah.
Fire is moving.
Yeah.
Right.
So what we're gonna do here on the fire, we're gonna create a scene, child object and call it tween for the fire. And like I'm gonna call it mouth open, actually, because when you open a mouth, I just want to be resume the fire rotation.
Right. Mouth open for the fire, not the player.
Yeah.
Right.
So in order to make it faster, you can just like copy the mouth open from somewhere else and just like come back and just like paste it. You have a face event, mouth open, and what you want it to do is just like select the run tween and fire rotator and fire rotator. And now when I open my mouth, the game just like resume, like you have a unlimited continue in this game. Yeah.
Nice.
So one thing that we're missing, like the game starts like there's nothing to, we need something to start the game first. So the game automatically start. How to just like make the game start after we open our mouth? It is super simple. On the fire rotator, we just like uncheck the play automatically. And then as you can see, the fire is on my back. It's not starting. And as I open my mouth, fire comes. So one more thing, like we have so many questions about that. So as you can see, the fire just like showing that it's 2D. I just wanted to make it to always just like look at the camera. You don't see the depth of it.
Sure.
So this is super simple to do. You just like go on the fire and we have a new component called look at. Just like select it and select the target. So in target in here, we want to say just like our target is camera and always try to look at the camera. So just like drag and drop camera. And you can not see the depth of the fire anymore.
Fire is always facing the camera,
Yes.
always facing forward.
Yeah.
This is really, we use look at quite a, actually if you add a face sprite in Lens Studio, we give you a look at component by default. And the reason why is a lot of times the 2D attachment things you might want to attach to your face actually look really good when they're always facing the camera. They look much more illustrated. Although in the face sprite itself, you can actually uncheck that very easily. We do that sometimes for 2D face attachments where you actually do want to have a sense of 3D depth, like sunglasses would be an example for that.
Yes, exactly. So one more problem that when I was creating the lens that I faced was just like when I cover my face, like let me restart it. When I cover my face, oh, you can see it's just like showing everything on behind of me. I just want it to be just like when it's not finding a face, hide everything. When it's finding
like a broken face,
yeah,
broken state.
yeah,
right?
Exactly. What we're gonna do is just like create a new scene object in here, and
CINK says no real cats were harmed. You don't know that.
Ooh. Face found. So in here, I'm gonna add the new behavior here called for the face event. Where is face events? And I'm gonna use face found. Like I wanna say like when it's find my face, enable all the object, and when it's just like lose my face, disable all the object. So we have a response type here called set enable, and I'm gonna select my pin here that it's include all the stuff that I have like cat, fire, everything, and I'm gonna just like when the face found, enable this object, and I'm just gonna copy and paste this, and when it's lost my face, disable the object.
Right.
So now, you can see?
Whole game goes away
Yeah.
when you lose the face. Yep. Nice.
So, the last thing I think we need to add the game over type.
Okay.
Right?
Cool.
There is a new thing that we add to the Lenses Studio 1.7, I think, the label, right?
Yes, Label came out in 1.7. Label basically allows you to type in text without having to import images. We have a number of fonts that are included in Lens Studio that you're free to use. And then also you can always import your own custom TTF font into the resources panel and use it on the label component.
Yes. So in order to import the font, I'm just gonna show you, like, we have a, if you in the resources panel go to the font, we have just like so many fonts here for you to use. Or what you can do, just like I just want to use my own fonts here, so I'm gonna go here and in the folder I call fonts, I import my fonts, and let's select the game over text and just like put it here. And I'm gonna call, like, say game over. It's too big, a little bit bigger, 14. And we have like so many effects option available. I like to add outline so you can see it as always and make the outline bigger, and you can change the color as you want. And I'm gonna put it a little bit higher here, so we have a game over text here. What I'm gonna do is, let's make sure everything is clean. I want to just like add the tween system to just like when you lose, it just like show the game over. I'm gonna
also just interject real quick. I just checked, and for scripters out there, you do have script access to outline color, outline size, the shadow size, the shadow offset, the shadow color. So you can actually, obviously you can script the text for the label component, which is super useful. For example, if you want to have a clock, but you can also kind of play with the script, the color, the size of the outline, and everything. I wasn't sure on that myself, so I had to look that up.
Awesome. So I'm gonna add the tween here, like script again. Go to the tween folder, tween types, and this time I want to do tween alpha. I want it to be just like, yeah, as you can see right now. And first set the scene object, and I'm gonna call this game over as animation and make it just like 2 seconds. And I just want this one to also be ping pong, just like show and then go away. Okay, now it's working. I'm gonna turn off play automatically, so I don't want it to be just like here on the start. What I do, go on the material, select the color, and turn down the opacity, so it's not here anymore. So on the distance check, we're gonna have a new entry here. Copy one of them and paste. So fire and player distance 6. What we're gonna do this time, run tween exactly, and let's go back. Select game over, and the animation name was game over, and we want to just like start showing the game over state.
There we go.
Ooh,
We got a game.
yes.
One thing I'll mention too on the game over here, because you've copied the trigger multiple times, which is totally reasonable. But one of the things you might run into is that, like, let's say you need to change the distance. Now you need to change the distance on all three. We've actually added a kind of interesting thing to behavior script, which is the ability to call a response that calls out to all other behavior scripts. And what is that called again?
Tween chain.
No, not tween chain. Go to response type under run tween, send custom trigger.
Oh yeah.
And so what you can do is have a trigger that is tuned in some way. For example, object A, object B comes in distance with, you know, those two and will do something. But instead of doing something, you send a custom trigger that is called, you know, game over. And then as a trigger type, so if you select trigger, go back, under trigger, you can have a on custom trigger. And so now all of the things that you want to respond to that trigger type, you can just kind of do in a list. So everything, here's 5 behaviors that respond to game over, and they do a specific thing. And so what's cool there is if you want to change the trigger for what game over means to open mouth or open eyes, you can do that, and all of the things that are responding to that on custom trigger will happen. And it's kind of more of an advanced use case for behavior script, but we find it a nice way to kind of keep behavior script projects pretty clean.
Yeah, exactly. So the last thing that we always do is just like go to the project info and set the lens icon here, and just like call it cat and fire, and we want it to just like give a hint, so open your mouth and only working on the front camera. So I think we have everything ready. So also you can just like do some like effects here, just like go to the face effects and like for what's it called, face retouch. You can just like have a face retouch to just like make sure our skin is softer, and just like also adding the post process and whatever that you want to add.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. So yeah, I mean that's basically a lens that is fairly complex. It's like a character moving, running, jumping, jumping not only by playing an animation but also translating the position. The fire that's moving, and when you collide with that flyer, game over happens. Yeah. That's all doable with just kind of like clever uses of the behavior script, all without writing any code. That's the behavior script. Really excited for people to start using that. I know some creators are already using it. We've gotten great feedback on it. We are really excited to make improvements, additions to it. So if you all do have any ideas for what we could add to the behavior script, or if you do run into any issues, of course, also let us know so that we can fix them for future updates. But yeah, that's the behavior script. And so like in the past streams that we've done, and for this one, Amir, I think we'll kind of package up that project, and we'll put it on the Lens Studio forum and allow you to download and kind of inspect in more detail on your machines how the project's made. And feel free to kind of make that project your own, add your own kind of custom characters or custom GIFs. Again, all of those animations that we had for the cats, those could easily be replaced by adding just Giphy assets. Yes, exactly. So I kind of want to play with this after with some of the Giphy integration that we have. Yes. And also we'll post a lens too as well, so you can actually play with the lens. And so I guess finally, just before we sign off, curious if anybody on the stream has any questions that's been burning in them related to lens development, or anything we might be able to answer. The other thing I'll say before any of those comes in is we are, again, looking to do this probably once a month, probably towards the end of the month. Definitely follow our forum, which is where a lot of people are asking questions, and it's also been amazing watching people answer each other's questions on the forum. But we'll also be posting when the Twitch stream will happen again, and also definitely follow us on Twitter as well, which is Snap Lens Studio, at Snap Lens Studio on Twitter, and then obviously subscribe to the Twitch channel if you haven't already. Anything you want to add, Amir?
I think that's all.
Okay, cool. Well, if there are no questions, I think that's it. So, again, as a follow-up, we'll post back the project, the lens. Would love to see versions of this lens that you guys create. And again, feel free to use that cat asset for whatever you want to use it for. And until next time, it was really fun joining you, and Happy New Year. Thanks a lot. And again, always inspired by the crazy creations that you guys come up with. It's so fun. We play with them every day in Snap Camera and Snapchat. Just keep making awesome stuff. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.